there, sweet people, welcome to the Sweet Cake channel. My name is Katarina, and today, you guys, we are going to carry on with baking and cooking and reviewing the recipes. I have something very interesting for you in my pocket today. I'm going to try and make a granny's apple pie or apple cake. I'm not really sure what's the difference between pie and cake, but pie sounds better, so let's go with the pie. The recipe is actually kind of traditional Slovakian or from this area. I'm sure people in Czech Republic are baking this cake as well. It is very common and very usual recipe for apple pie, which I never tried, but I tasted and eaten a lot of it while I was a child, and it's traditional granny's pie. I think every granny probably in Slovakia is baking it, but I never made it before, and I found myself at home with tons and tons of apples, and I wanted to try something and bake something with them. This original recipe is a sugar recipe, and because I don't eat sugar, I am going to try and do it without the sugar, and I will try and change some ingredients, and hopefully it will all work out. But if you want to see it, stay watching, stay tuned, and now I will show you what everything do you need, and I will do the actual recipe step by step so you can see it, watch it, and try it by yourself. So let's get started. What do we need for this recipe? Is flour. The recipe is asking for 400 grams of white flour. I am using mixture of grated almonds or almond flour and a white spelt flour. Then next one is butter, 250 grams of butter. Then we will need 2 eggs, a little bit of cinnamon. I think I am using 1 or 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Baking powder, we will need 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and the last but not least is the main ingredient of the whole recipe, and these are apples. We will need 1 kilogram of apples. We need to peel the apples and get rid of the middle part. When you have all your apples ready, then you need to use your magic trick and grate the apples. Yes, all of them. If you do have a food processor, you are lucky one. If you don't, then just use your hands and go ahead and grate all the apples which you have on your table. Once you have your apples shredded, it's just very simple thing which you are going to do with them. You just need to take a spoon and put some cinnamon in it. I am going to put 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Then you will just mix it up and put it on the side, because we don't need this apple mixture now. We will need it later, because this one will be our filling or middle part, and we will need to get ready the actual pastry before we can put apples somewhere. So it's simple, just mix it up, put it on the side, and let's start making the pastry. For the pastry, all what you need is mixing bowl, and into the bowl you just need to weigh 400 grams of flour. As I said, I am using mixture of almond flour and spelt flour just because I'm not using any sugar and I wanted to give a pastry some taste. This is why I've chosen almond flour. I have no idea how it will taste. I hope it will taste good, but fingers crossed. I think it will be good. I think it will be nice. I think it will be similar as an almond flour apple crumble. So fingers crossed, but this is my way how I'm trying to do sugar-free recipe from sugar recipe. I've used 250 grams of almond flour and I top it up with the rest of a spelt flour, so 150 grams of spelt flour. Next ingredient is butter. I like to cut the butter on small cubes and then just put it into the bowl. It will make it easier to mix it, just because butter can be a little bit tricky. But if you will think ahead and you will take your butter out of your fridge before you will actually start making this recipe, you will make your life much easier. I didn't, so this is why I like to cut the butter onto small pieces, just to, make my life a little bit easier. Once you have a butter inside, the last ingredient which you need to put in is baking powder. I'm using 1 teaspoon of baking powder, and now it's time to get our hands dirty. I like to do it with the hands because it's easier, it's less messy than trying to use any kitchen utensils. My hand will be messy, but that's easy to clean and nothing will come out of a mixing bowl. So once you feel satisfied that all the butter is mixed up with the flour and baking powder evenly, next thing what you need to do is to put 2 eggs into your mixture and carry on mixing. Now we have to roll this mixture to create bottom layer and a top layer, and it's quite sticky, so I think this is gonna be fun. I do have my baking tray prepared on the side. I am using baking paper, and now I'm trying to think. I will probably divide the mixture into 4 pieces just in case, and do probably 2 small bits on the bottom, 2 small bits on the top, and we'll see how this will go. So I'll just take a knife and kind of divide it. Well, let's say that this is how I want it. It's very sticky. Oh, I need the flour. So I'm using a spelt flour as well to kind of cover the bottom, and let's go for it. Oh, I'm scared. That looks like it's gonna be very hard. Okay, let's do it. I think I'm going to do it in 8 pieces. So I'll cut this in 2. Oh. This one is going back, and I think I will start again because this is very, very soft and very hard to work with. Let's hope that this will work better. Ooh. And I think that will be easy to kind of work with it once it's on baking tray. I think, I'm not sure, we'll see, because it's very soft, so I guess I will be able to work the shape around and just make it look nice. This is how it looks like at the moment, and I'm going to kind of fill those gaps which I have in the corners, just using the bits on the side. So now we need to use our apples. Ta-da! So you'll just basically put them all on our pastry, kind of evenly. There's a lot of apples. Now we need to do the same thing with the rest of the pastry, just roll it and put it on top. This is all done, the top layer is where it should be, and now the cake is ready to go to the oven for 200 degrees. I don't know for how long, recipe said to just keep an eye on it and take it out when it's nice and golden, I think, so just keep an eye on it. Alrighty guys, so cake is done, or pie, or whatever we want to call it. Can you please let me know what's the difference between cake and pie? I wanted to Google it so many times, but I just keep forgetting to do it. But let's call it apple pie because it just sounds better. So this recipe was interesting. It was quite simple, not very many ingredients. I changed a few, as you could see. I did mention it in a video. I did use almond flour or ground almonds instead of white flour. I did put 250 grams of almonds and the rest I put a white spelt flour. But as I was making the actual pastry, I realized that it was very, very liquidy, so I did have to put some more almond flour and some more spelt flour just to make consistency a bit thicker, so I was able to roll it into the actual shape. The rolling wasn't easy, as you could see. I had to divide it to 8 smaller parts and just do it and kind of put it all together while it was on a baking tray. But overall, it wasn't that hard. It wasn't that time consuming. It didn't take me 5 minutes. It did take me a bit longer, but I really, really like it. And the taste of this recipe is absolutely amazing. It tastes so good. If you like apples and you like pies and you want to try something sugar-free, you definitely have to go for it and try this recipe. It's not that hard. Ingredients are simple. If you're on sugar-free diet, I'm sure you have some almond flour at home, because this is something what I always have because I'm using it as a substitution quite often. Go for it, try it and let me know. We absolutely loved it. I made this cake and it just didn't disappear in one day. We are eating a little bit every day because still there is a lot of apples, so it's still a lot of sugar in a cake or pie. I call it cake or pie, so just forget about, just please ignore it. I will call it differently every time. I would definitely recommend you to try that recipe. It's 400% 5-star recipe or 10-star recipe or 5 times 5. It is probably so far my very favorite recipe which I tried and created from sugar recipe to sugar-free recipe. It is really delicious. It's so soft and it's so tasty and very refreshing. It's not heavy. Ooh, it's really nice and I am enjoying every single bite of that cake. It's really delicious. Definitely go for it. The original recipe is, I think it's Slovakian language, but you don't really need to watch it. I did show you everything what you are gonna need in my video, so if you will follow step by step my instructions and my video, then you are good to go and good to go to try it. If you want to try it with sugar, then check out the original recipe. I'm sure Google will help you to translate it and you will find it easy to follow the instructions. But now for me it's time to end this video because it's extremely long. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'm uploading every Tuesday. I have more content coming at your way, so just stay tuned, stay excited, stay happy. Leave me a comment or send me a message on Instagram if you do have any questions, or if you want to tell me something, or if you do have some good recipe which I can try. And until next Tuesday, take care, stay happy, and I will see you very soon. Bye!